Okay, so today we're going to make some ham and bean soup, and we're going to also make a ham and potato cheese casserole because we have already eaten off this ham once, plus used it to make our eggs Benedict, and so now we just need to finish it off. I didn't think it was as big as it was, but it's fed our family of 5 a few times. So I'm going to saute some onions, and I want some onions for the soup and some onions for the casserole. So I'm just going to do them all in the Instapot and then pull some out. So the first thing you do is you take a little bit, I guess you could use whatever fat you want. I'm using butter. Looks like maybe a tablespoon of butter. Okay, so first we push saute. And we're not gonna need to saute it for 30 minutes, but I'm not messing with that. I'll just shut it off when we're done. Okay? So we're gonna dump our onions that I've chopped not evenly because, yeah, I just didn't. That's what food processors are for, or people with patience. And so we're gonna saute these up until they're translucent, maybe a little brown. Also, because I'm not doing 1,000 things at once, I think I'll go ahead and add my garlic. Yeah, who left the spoon in there? Can you see it? Yeah, It's not where spoons go. Okay, so we're gonna add a little garlic, and then you just let this cook down for a few minutes. So now that the onions are translucent, just starting to brown, I'm just gonna take out like a small scoop of it for our casserole. We don't need a lot of onions in the casserole. I would rather have the onions in the soup than the casserole. Probably just about that much. It's like 1/8 of a cup. So I have my bowl of chopped up ham, or cubed ham, for my potato cheese casserole. I have a good sized baggie filled with chopped ham to stick in the freezer to make omelets, and that's enough for our family. That's enough for our family. Probably enough for an omelet to feed 6. And I also have a baggie of sliced ham for sandwiches for lunch, on top of the rest of the spiral ham that will now go in the Instapot. I took off as much as I could take off easily and chopped it up, and then I placed the spiral ham in the Instapot with the bone, and all of these juices will go in the Instapot. I decided to switch off from the casserole and finish the ham and bean soup so I could use this foil pan for our casserole. I'm going to pour all the juices in. I didn't use a glaze that came with the ham because it's like all sugar. So if you like the way that tastes, that's okay still, but I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you plan on using it for other meals. So while I'm working on the soup, I'm just parboiling these potatoes for the casserole. You don't have to do this, you could skip this step, but it's getting close to dinner time and this will make it quicker. So I just cubed them up. I left the skins on, they're red potatoes, and I'm parboiling them for a few minutes. So as you can see, I added some more water. I'm not gonna add any seasoning at this point, and the beans are not in here, just the ham and the sauteed onions and garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on. and I'm going to set it to soup. So for 30 minutes, make sure the top is closed and let it run. This will help get the rest of that meat off of the bone. So while the potatoes are boiling, we're gonna work on the cheese sauce. So I have about 2 heaping spoonfuls of flour in my pot to make a roux. And I put equal amounts of butter. So to make a roux, it's equal parts fat and flour in the pot. Some people just like to thicken their sauces and gravies with the flour and water slurry. However, I don't particularly care for it when the raw flour taste comes through, so I like to make a roux. Basically, you let the butter melt and you stir it in with the flour. And when it starts to smell nutty and kind of come together, you add your milk. So now you add your milk, and you're supposed to whisk at the same time, but I only have one hand. Whisk in your milk. And this is where you can add your seasoning. Like 2 teaspoons of salt, some garlic, some black pepper, some cayenne powder to taste. I also like to use a little bit of turmeric for color. Just whisk that together, and as it heats back up, it should thicken. So once it starts to thicken, you've stirred it the whole time. Then if you have an electric range like I do, you're going to want to shut your heat off. If you have a gas range, just turn it on really, really low. I just don't like the cheese to curdle, so if it's too hot, that's what happens. So then we're going to add about 1.5 cups of cheese, and that was sharp cheddar, and about 1 cup of mozzarella. Keep in mind, my electric range is off, and it's still this hot. And I just stir it until all the cheese melts. So we're reusing, like I said, the pan. I just washed it. I did the ham in, and those are partially boiled, almost completely boiled red potatoes we're going to put in there, and our cubed ham, and the cheese sauce. Now keep in mind, this recipe for this cheese sauce can be used for lots of things, like homemade mac, cheese sauce on your vegetables. So I'm gonna pour some of it in right now. I know there's a few chunks of cheese in that cheese sauce because I'm impatient, so they'll probably come out with the next pour. And we're probably gonna serve this with a vegetable, maybe cauliflower and broccoli, or a side salad. You could even, if all of your family members like broccoli, you could throw broccoli florets in here. So you just make sure you mix it all up. And you could do this in a bowl or a pot before putting it in the baking dish, but I'm all about not dirtying a lot of dishes. I'm gonna take some more of this cheese sauce. It's probably overkill. There's that cheese that didn't melt. Somebody's gonna be the lucky grab bag winner. So basically, almost everything is cooked. So at this point, you just stick it in the oven, covered with foil for a little bit, at like 350 degrees. And then for maybe 15-20 minutes, and then take the foil off, add a little cheese on top, and cook for another few minutes until it's bubbly and brown. I forgot to mix the sauteed onions in. So we're just gonna kind of put them on the top and kind of push them in there. Perfect. Okay, good. Okay, so here it is. After just about 20 minutes in the oven.
Beautiful.
And we put some mozzarella, a little bit of cheddar, and some Parmesan on top. Why the faces? And the hair. Do you like it?
Yes, it's beautiful. It tastes like potato soup.
But it's not so soupy. It's just potato and ham casserole.
It's good.
Thanks. Oh. Okay, so at this point, you can see why I put the ham in there for 30 minutes on its own with the bone, because there is literally like no meat left on the bone, and it just fell right off. All that is good meat, and I feel like I'm being watched. What? Do you want some? You're on a special diet, buddy. I'm sorry. Say mama. 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 Say I love you. Okay, don't say anything. You can. Okay, you'll get fed in a minute. So this is what it looks like right now. That's the onion and garlic on the top. And look at all that meat I got off of the bone. There's tons of meat in there. You could use navy beans. I have Great Northern. So I'm gonna add about 2 cups of Great Northern beans in there. Now I am gonna can this. So normally I would wait for the carrots, but I want to show you what the finished product looks like. So then I add about 3 large carrots. So then I put the lid on and I do another 30-minute round on the soup setting. Okay, so this is what it looks like after 30 minutes in the Instapot. And if you're not gonna can it, you would do it for 60 minutes and those beans will completely cook through, and the broth that's in here won't be as translucent. However, I'm gonna do a cooking video on how to can the bean and bacon or ham and bean soup. And so because it needs to be pressure cooked, I didn't want to overcook the beans and end up with mush. So for the second round, after you add the beans, you can go ahead and adjust your setting in your Instapot for 60 minutes on the soup setting. Now all of this can be done on your stovetop as well. It just takes a lot longer. It can be done in a crock pot or in a roaster if you don't have a pressure cooker like this. But look at it, it's filled with meat, and there's carrots, and not a whole heck of a lot of seasoning goes into this. Sometimes I go ahead and add some pepper, but I rarely even salt it because ham is pretty salty to begin with. So that's it. And there'll be an upcoming video when I can it, and you'll see what it looks like then. Thanks for watching.